reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every...
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 161. I'm Chris, and I am joined once again by the destroyer of the moors, the hole digger extraordinaire, Mr. Leonor himself. Hello, Leonor.
We built this podcast on MMOs.
Nice, nice. That is a special treat for our pre-show listeners. And we have the wonderful writer extraordinaire, the adventurer of non-tamed stars, and unfortunately, someone who makes titans fall. Hello, Harry.
My Titan did definitely fall. Hi.
Hi. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you might be listening to this show. We have...
G'day, mate.
What's that?
I said, g'day, mate.
G'day, mate. No, I'm sorry. To all of those listeners in Australia, please send your hate mail to steve@mmoreporter.com. All right, let's get right into things, because we do have a lot of news to talk about, so we should get going. Leonor, why don't you tell us what you've been doing in-game?
Like you said, I was in the moors, and I've gotten pretty far. I am only 9% away from rank 13.
Wow.
So, yeah, getting there.
That is pretty darn cool.
I think I've had I think a long time ago I didn't have very much to say about this topic, so
And
I just have to say the number and just be done.
Now you can say that you have said a lot about it. Wait, no, you can't.
I think my entire MMO reporter career I've been talking about this rank.
Yeah.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that we're tired at all, right, Harry?
Absolutely not. Just keep going.
In the secret world, a friend of mine that I met named Certain Doom took me through a lot of the instances.
Cool.
You need to do epic level instances to unlock the nightmare level of all of the instances. So I don't have all of them done yet, but I went through 4 of them, and they are really cool. One of them, towards the end, you get to fight something that looks like Cthulhu. You guys fight this big monster, you get in a helicopter, and then Cthulhu knocks you out of the sky, and you have to fight him.
Wow.
It's very cool. There was another one where it was a Native American Indian reservation where you fought Aztec warriors, and towards the end of it, you end up fighting a very cool lion-type, dragon-type thing.
Okay, so the way you worded that, just so you know, makes it sound like it's an instance filled with Native Americans and people from India. Because you said it has Native Americans and Indians, and
You know what? That sounds exciting as well.
you know what? There's a lot of really great mythology from India that would be actually a lot of fun to play through in Secret World.
Mythology.
Yeah.
India has some of one of the oldest religious works in the world. I think even the oldest comes from India, and they have fantastic mythology.
Yeah. So that would be fun for the Secret World to take on. Offend one more religious group.
Well, we'll have to see, because some of that might be in there already.
Oh,
'Cause
Why
Egypt's
does it
there.
offend?
have you not heard Secret World has offended many of the world's religions because it takes all these supernatural elements which are part of many of the religions of the world and
And treats
gamifies
them like they
them.
actually are true.
And
Oh.
no, it treats them like I'm going to try and say this in a really, really. It treats them like it would any other fictional work in the game. So they'll put Cthulhu right up there with Christian references, right up there with different religious references, and they'll put ones that are fiction based and ones that are religion based. I'm not going to say about that distinction there. I'm not going to talk about that, but it puts them in the same category. And a lot of people in the past have been offended by that. I think they're wrong to be offended. It's a game, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Moving
Right.
on.
Okay. Yeah, this is. We don't want to get stuck in
Send
this
your hate mail
discussion.
to.
Let's move this on. Yeah, because those
And,
people are idiots. I'm sorry. People who complain about that are idiots.
I thought I hinted about that being my thought, but anyways.
Okay, but I'm far enough away from all those religious nuts to actually say what I think about it. You're in the same continent.
Yeah.
Well, we have religious nuts here too.
Anyways, moving along, Leonore. Moving along.
I got to play a lot of EverQuest's Next Landmark, and I did a live stream of that last Friday. And had a lot of people tell me how to play the game. It was great.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff I just did not know how to do. And things just seemed a little bit goofy and glitchy at times, but there were people in the chat room that knew how to play and how to work with it. And they basically taught me how to do a lot of this stuff. So
Awesome.
I think I did that show for about 4 hours because I was really
Wow.
into it.
Did you
And I started
discover
sounding
that-
like Bob Ross. Started sounding like Bob Ross. Okay, we're gonna do some happy little mountains.
Okay,
here.
I thought you were older than me. I would have said Bob Vila. But that's just me.
He's not
Harry,
gonna
what did you
construct
do
a
this
home.
week?
Oh wait, he is building a home. God, I want to do. I did a Bob Ross type stream when I was doing the EVE Online one. I didn't realize it because it was the first time I was streaming, and people were saying, "Why were you talking so softly?" I don't know. It's just something you do when you stream.
You should
I
do
don't know.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
No, I'm Al.
and blow up.
Yeah. You can be Tim. I'll be Al. All right. Harry, what's been keeping you busy?
Quite a lot actually. When I look at the list, and it keeps growing. Because I keep remembering things that I've been trying out. First, with two friends of mine, we played Monster Hunter Freedom Unite multiplayer. This is the PlayStation Portable game. There are several iterations of the same game with expansion packs tacked on, and this is actually the ultimate edition, basically, with all the quests, all the monsters, everything.
Cool.
And usually you can't play these PSP games online, at least not the Monster Hunter ones. But there is this app on the PlayStation 3. It's called Ad Hoc Party. And with that you can hook up your PlayStation Portable to the PlayStation 3 and that way play online. So we were actually chatting over Skype and playing this game from our own respective living rooms with the PlayStation Vita as our consoles, and it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
It required some equipment. I mean, I was sitting with an iPad for the Skype connection, a PlayStation Vita, a PlayStation 3, an extra cable to the network, and the router and the internet, and all that combined made possible what Japanese people can just do when they hop into a cafe and find their friends,
Right.
because people there play on a table together. It's so much more fun to play this game with friends, as every game is. Multiplayer saves everything, but this game is basically doing raids from the start with a couple of friends, or big boss battles one after another. Great fun. Played EverQuest Next Landmark and got some advice from the guy that I was basically making fun of last week, the guy who paid for the free-to-play game.
because I was complaining that the building was so slow because I could only put down small blocks, and I was wondering, Leonor, did you learn that you can use the building tool with your scroll wheel to make your bricks larger or smaller as required?
Yes, I think that was about the third or fourth thing I learned.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, as I stated before, and I was actually mad at the game. I should have been mad at myself, which is my normal state of mind. I re-rolled Defiance on the Xbox.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to do it on the Xbox because my hard disk is so full that I couldn't reinstall the PC version.
Oh.
So I decided to patch it on the Xbox, and I thought, how long could that take?
Oh my God! Isn't it the worst ever?
3 days. 3 days of patching. And
3 days?
Xbox. Yeah, well, every time I thought it was done, the thing either locked up on me or just shut down because it was inactive for so long.
Worst patcher ever.
It was a disgrace, but finally I got through. Actually, I thought, you know what? While this thing is patching, I'll play Lotro. Lotro needed a patch too, a big one, because I hadn't played in a while. That's not fun. It's a first world problem, but it's a bad first world problem.
You finally got to play Isengard?
Let me first. Defiance, actually.
Sorry, let me.
Hold on. No, not that song. No.
No, go ahead. I won't do anything, I promise.
Yeah, I know your promises, man. I actually enjoy Defiance again, even though I'm still at the point I've already played before. Frame rate is, I think, slightly up from the last time I saw it, but not that much. But they did do some stuff at the intro that I'm quite happy with, because I remember the first boss fight that I had, which was this big lumbering giant zombie or whatever he was with the rocket launcher. I remember dying quite a lot getting through that fight, and now I just got him in one, which was, I think, a nerf or a buff on the side of the player.
I'm trying to remember that first boss fight.
It's this
in the tutorial.
Well, it's just after the tutorial. You'll have this actually first mission, and you have this giant, this gray skinned giant with a rocket launcher, and there are what's it called? What's the term in the game? It's not zombies. It's mutants.
Yes.
We're in this base, and then you have to kill this guy. And I remember at first he was in a tank or something, and he's not now anymore. I don't know. They did something to that to make it a lot easier, and it was a lot more enjoyable because now actually, it was still a challenge, but without being frustrating. So, Lotro, I got into Lotro. I'm having so much fun with Lotro. I got over all the hang-ups I had except mounted combat, which still sucks. I'm so happy to get off the damn horse and just get into some dungeon type thing and just kill stuff. And I relearned my rotation. That was my big complaint the last time, that they changed everything. I just now accept the new masters, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Cool.
I'm not that far in yet. I think I'm level 84. I think almost 84, almost 85, something like that. But I also decided, and I think this is an interesting experiment. I have a lot of turbine points. I mean, I thought when I first logged in, I think I had 15,000. And I decided to just get every kind of speed boost or buff in the store that I could possibly get to speed up my leveling. Just see what happens, because I'm not in the mood to just gallop on that horse from goal to goal. And I discovered that you can use these little coins to just transport to the next objective in your quest. I think about 70% of the time you can just click on that and go to the point you have to be, and that saves so much time. Mm-hmm. It works. I bought a pack of about 200 of those coins, and I'm just clicking my way through the game, and it's not even, I'm not bothered by it. I think 2 years ago I would actually felt disgusted by that because it feels like cheating. Now it just feels like I'm getting up to speed because I want to do the dungeons again.
Hey, at least you're not paying money for a max level character or something like that, or close to max.
If they had the option, I would probably do it. I have no scruples about it. The thing is, the areas that I'm in now are empty.
Right.
Nobody is there, and that's not fun. And I'm seeing all those war bands, which are actually a fun addition and actually make the mounted combat bearable because it's then working as intended. And there's nobody around to do the big ones with.
Right.
So I'm gonna skip all that. I did a Wildstar's Adventures dev tour, which was interesting. I'd forgotten the name of the adventures we did. I got some questions in there. Adventures are kind of like a mix between dungeons and Lotro skirmishes. It is a way for the Wildstar devs to do challenges in an instanced environment that are not like a regular dungeon and where they can try out and experiment with new gameplay systems. For example, they mentioned they're going to have a tower defense type thing.
Right.
They have stealth adventures. They have it's very story heavy. And the window dressing, the story around the stories, there's this AI that is kind of twisted. He has a good side and a bad side, and he runs a simulator, kind of a holodeck experience, and the adventurers are tested in those adventures with challenges. And the thing is, the bad side wants to really hurt them, while the good side really wants to do some science. One of the first things I asked was, why do you put a virtual adventure inside a virtual adventure? And they didn't really have an answer to that, except make Inception references and say, we got to go deeper. And after that, they said, it's just part of the story, and we will not reveal what the actual story is. But there is this kind of story arc that's involved with this caretaker character. And the actual adventure was a lot of fun. It played very much like a dungeon, I must say. And they also said, because the first adventure in the series is more a way of getting your feet wet, just getting to know the system, it felt more like a dungeon run than anything else. And fun. Good design.
And the other thing, too, that caretaker character is in quests as well. In the open world, not just through the adventures. Yeah. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, but it's not just an add-on, as you say. It's something that's woven through the story of
Correct.
Yeah, but which is it's fun. It's a fun character. It's nice cartoony villainy, in unpredictability. I did the Titanfall beta.
Oh, you son of a gun!
Oh my god, it's so good. I was giggling. I played the first you have this tutorial. And I hate tutorials. Everybody does. And even the tutorial was mildly amusing, which is saying a lot. You just have to know your movement. It has a game that has two different modes of transportation, as most people, I think, know. You are a foot soldier, and you have the ability to call a Titan. And a Titan is a big mech, big robot. And you would think that being on foot would suck compared to being in a robot. And it doesn't, because they solved this. They made you, as a soldier, you have a parkour skill set. So you are very agile. You can run. You do wall runs and double jumps, and you have rocket boosts, and every kind of mobility that you can imagine. Plus guns, very Call of Duty like guns, but good guns. Is there any other kind in games? Of course. And the thing is, in an actual match, you are not allowed to just call in your mech immediately. You have to wait a certain amount of time for it to charge. And every time you lose your mech, it has to charge again. So that means a lot of the time, you are basically on foot. And there's a lot of strategy in playing both a foot soldier and a mech pilot in the same match, alternating between the two. And the actual match has different phases. You have the normal objectives, and after you lose, you can still gain some points and some experience by trying to make it to the exit, which is a evacuation craft that you have to get into. And not only get into, but protect it. Because if it blows up while you're in it and it lifts off, then you also lose. And during that last phase, there is no respawn, so you actually have to be very careful to get to the bug out point. It's so exciting. It's like being in one of those big battles in Avatar, the
Right.
big forest, or in Starship Troopers. It feels so epic and so grand.
Nice.
I was giggling. It was like boom. That was basically my state of mind an hour after. It was fantastic fun. So I'm really looking forward to the full game of that. And finally, just a slight mention: there was a humble bundle for Sid Meier games. Basically, almost everything he did since Civ 4. Civ 3. And I am an avid Civilization player. I love Civilization 5, but I didn't have the expansion packs yet. So now for, I think, $15, I got all the Sid Meier games, including all the expansion packs for Civ 5. And I'm so sorry about that, because I will not see you for the coming 3 weeks. So that was actually a friend of mine and me are going to play this multiplayer, and we're going to try to drag a third friend of mine in there as well, because they have this asynchronous multiplayer option, and it allows you to just put in your moves and then lay the game away, and then wait until everybody. So basically, chess by mail for Civilization.
Cool.
You don't think it's cool? I know.
No,
it's
I
the
do. I think
It's-
that's really interesting. I've always liked the chess by email sort of thing, being able to play strategic games with people that are very, very far away and that maybe don't fit the same schedule that you have, so you can't do it via online play, right?
Exactly. And even though there is online play, a regular online mode, the idea of just getting these moves in once a day or a couple of times a day, it tickles me. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my very long gaming week. Chris,
Yeah,
what
it
did
was
you
very
do?
long. Most of my gaming time in the past week was spent in Wildstar. I can start talking about more stuff now. NDA comes down. I'm still got to be a little picky because we've got the live chat room here. But I can talk a little bit about stuff. NDA goes down on Wednesday, which will be after this show, or before this show comes out. So up to level 29, I can start talking about. So going to be really excited about talking about that sort of stuff. We're actually tomorrow night, again, by the time this is aired, but that whole thing, we're going to run a couple dungeons with my guild and show that stuff off. And I'm just really having more and more fun. The more I play it, the more I enjoy it. And it's distilled MMO goodness. It does add new things to the formula, but in a way that a chef adds new things to a soup to make it a better soup, but it's still a soup, right? And so
It's an interesting analogy.
well, but any recipe, a chef will add their own flavor to it. They might even add completely new ingredients, not just spices, but completely new ingredients to it to make it better. But it's still, in the end, the recipe for the same type of thing, right? So it's an MMO in the style of WoW, and I'll try and find it and throw it in the show notes. There's a really, really great video that's titled "How WoW Killed MMOs," and it has nothing to do with numbers, and it basically just talks about the fact that through its success, WoW normalized its gameplay style as the gameplay style for MMOs. And therefore now every MMO has to be like WoW, because WoW was such a big success, it is such a big budget that they have to follow the same formula. It's very hard for any game to deviate tons from that formula and take those risks, because not a lot of people are looking outside that formula. As much as people complain, games that do stuff very, very differently don't all turn out to be Eves, right?
Do you think that's still true? But I would say this was true in 2007 through 2010.
I
not
still
anymore.
think that people, when they think of an MMO and when they expect an MMO, they expect what WoW put forward as an MMO as the norm. Instead of just being WoW, it is now the norm. And I still think that's the case. There's still comparisons to WoW in games. This is still a WoW clone. This is blah, 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 blah. You saw it in ESO, which is, an MMO, but, much less of a in the same vein as WoW as Wildstar is. Wildstar is much more in that same vein. And I do think it's still the case. I think that WoW's success has put the industry back a little bit because there's less risk taking. Crickets.
Well,
It's the same thing that happened with Street Fighter.
Okay,
2.
wait, Leonor, you go ahead.
It's the same thing that happened with Street Fighter 2 when that came out. There were so many copies of it that came out, from all different kinds of companies.
Virtua
to
Fighter.
the point where it just, yeah, exactly. And, the 3D ones came
Virtua
out
Fighter.
like Tekken and all that. There was a huge flood of those games.
Right.
And that's when the shooters came in and just totally dominated that. And now we have shooters all over the place.
Right. But I do agree with it. And I'll try and find a link so I can show people in the video, in the show notes. Harry, you were going to say.
Well, I think I've said this before. We had this. What you described was true, but not anymore. And I see many more games that are just doing their own thing. And I do think WoW put a damper on creativity for a while. But I think we're now seeing. We've seen because of that a lot of games that launched were a lot like World of Warcraft and failed.
Right.
And I'm very sure that many of those games were at least partially inspired by the idea that if we do something like WoW, people will buy it. But then people realize if we want to play WoW, we will just play WoW.
Right, but Harry, what's different now than a few years ago? What games are coming out? And I will give you EverQuest Next Landmark, but I think that's a different genre.
I would say Guild Wars 2 has a very different... I mean, the fact that you have a third-person guy walking through a virtual world is not the World of Warcraft mode. World of Warcraft mode is guys in the town have a quest thingy floating over their head. You will keep doing those quests, kill 10 of this, rinse, repeat until you get to the end game. You do raiding, and that's your next game. That's the World of Warcraft formula in a nutshell. EverQuest 2 deviates from that in a lot of ways. I think.
But EverQuest 2 was a compatriot. It was at the same time as WoW. Didn't it launch just a little bit before?
Guild Wars 2.
Not Guild Wars 2. I'm sorry. I was thinking EverQuest 2. My apologies. I'm totally utterly crazy. Yeah, Guild Wars 2. But the hearts are just quests in specific locations that aren't the town.
But there is so much more to the... It's not the same trappings of you have to do this ladder of levels to get to a certain point after which the game changes into the dungeon running
Agreed.
game.
True. The game that you get at level 10 is the game you get at level 80.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things that break away from that mold. I wouldn't say it's completely...
Fractals.
Yes. I'm not saying there are not similarities. I'm not saying that they didn't do everything completely. It's just, it is a completely different take. They didn't copy World of Warcraft.
Leonor, do you think we can add a date to that T-shirt that you had made?
Of course we can.
Awesome.
I wanted to add in one thing real quick too. Since World of Warcraft, I think World of Warcraft was probably the game that introduced a lot of PvP into MMOs.
Dark Age of Camelot. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah,
that too.
Ultima Online, which was basically
ganking.
Play.
Yeah.
So now we have a whole genre of games that are coming out where all of the role-playing aspects and quests and all that stuff are taking out of it, and it's just straight fighting, which are the MOBAs.
But first, the Battlegrounds were first introduced in Dark Age of Camelot.
Oh, they did have Battlegrounds there too. Okay, I didn't know they had Battlegrounds there too.
They had before. Basically, everything we see in MMOs today was lifted from Dark Age of Camelot. All the innovations that I was talking about, the things that Guild does differently, are basically lifted wholesale from.
All right. We need to move on because we're just in the what we've done in game this week, and we're already halfway through the show.
Yes, please.
I do want to mention real quick from the Wildstar stream the other night that I had 2250 in the chat room there, a long-time listener, working night shift in a few different places. Not a few different places. Working night shift, listens to the show, and just wanted to say hello and thanks for listening, and really great to see you in the chat room. Now, also played some Guild Wars 2 when Wildstar was down. Also played some EverQuest Next Landmark when Wildstar was down. And I basically built myself, I put my plot on the side of a hill. I built myself a cave into the hill. I put my forge inside there, but oh no, smoke in the cave. I built myself a tunnel up, and I built a chimney at the top there. I'm going to build the whole house on the side of the hill, and that's going to be my little secret lair there where I craft stuff.
But it will grow back in.
No, it
Is that
won't
your
because
bat
it's on my
cave?
plot.
Is that your bat cave?
right.
It's my bat cave.
Oh.
See? But the problem is I suck, so it's going to be a while. Took me, I think, 45 minutes to build my chimney. Yeah.
That's pretty long for a chimney.
Yeah. And I did, I downloaded Dark Age Camelot, and I went to log in.
What was it like?
And I had to get my password for my Mythic account. Okay, that's fine. And so I went through all those steps, and then I had to link to my EA account, and I started going through those steps, and I said, no way, f*** it, I'm not doing this anymore, and I have not played it at all.
What
So,
word did you just use now? And did you?
it's actually a really, really cool sound. So anyways, the word I used was,
Oh,
yeah,
that word.
Anyway.
yeah, that one.
So you didn't play. That's what you're saying. You didn't actually get into the game.
Well, technically,
No.
No, I didn't. No.
Why not? I mean, just because you didn't want to do an EA account thing, you.
Because
Just
it was a
walked away.
freaking pain in the butt, and I had already spent 15 minutes getting my Mythic account password. Is this and that?
Oh my God, 15 minutes. Ooh, that's too long. If it takes 15 minutes,
Hey,
spent
Harry,
3
Harry,
days
Harry.
Calm the F down.
Oh.
And now
It's
for some
back.
music.
Hey, Harry. Do you have
Yes.
$60 I can borrow?
I have them, yes.
Do you have $60 I can borrow?
Well, borrow, no.
Give.
You
I'll
can
take
work for it.
give.
You can
Hey,
work for it.
whoa! Family-friendly show here, Harry.
What the hell do you need
Family
60 bucks
friend-
for?
Well, so
Believe me, I'm not going to pay you $60 for doing that. I will pay you not to do that.
So World of Warcraft is offering level 90s for $60.
You're going to make a panda.
I have a panda. He's not level 90 though.
Well, you can make him level 90.
I could for $60. Like-
$60 worth of bamboo.
60
Eat it!
freaking dollars. It's not in the shop yet. It's just going to be part of it is going to be a Warlords of Draenor pre-order bonus. So if you get Warlords of Draenor pre-order, you're going to be able to have a insta level 90. But apparently, it's going to be a service that's going to be available at that time as well.
But it's
$60.
not confirmed. eh?
Not-
It's not confirmed.
The price is not confirmed. However, all the
Right.
stuff is in game. So obviously, at this time, they're still playing with all the prices for everything. It could be $120 for all we know.
I think one of the main reasons it is this amount, or this at least this substantial amount, is that it is kind of a barrier to entry because they don't want everybody to start. If it was $10, I mean, there would be no level 10 character left in the game.
Right.
Everybody would be level 90.
Right.
I don't think that would benefit the game because then you basically just write off the entire game except
Agreed.
for the expansion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly.
Would you do it? Would you do it though?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
I would.
Yeah, probably for WoW to be able to get to the new content, because I've tried a few times. I've got a goblin in the level 40s or so from when that expansion came out. I've got my Death Knight. He actually made it to max level when he was raiding back in Wrath of the Lich King days. And I have my panda that's about level 40 or so. They all get stuck in the level 40 grind. And I can't make it. I can't do Outlands again. I can't do
No,
Outlands
that's
again.
that's the problem. But getting a a Panda Death Knight to level 90.
Oh,
That would piss off everybody in the game immediately.
that would be fun. Panda Death Knight. I have a dwarf.
Here's a question: if they up the level cap to 100, would you expect them to add more money to this if they did the feature again?
Maybe the next expansion, same price, but they're always going to have it be at whatever the entry for the next expansion is. I think from now on, you'll be able to pay to catch up to your friends going into the next expansion. That's what it really is, right? The next expansion will go from 90 to 100, so that they want everybody to be able to get into that content.
Which is fantastic, because that will make it so much more fun to play. And I think a lot of people who are now not playing, like myself, who just dread the feeling of going up until the point that everybody is playing, just want any kind of boost they get, just as I had in Lotro.
Yeah, it's and I wonder if this is going to come with a little starter pack of gear and stuff to get you going. Be interesting to see. Anyways, I think it's interesting. Harry, you made a really good comment in the, I think it was in the pre-show, where you said a few years ago you would have been outraged by this. Oh no, it was the coins you were talking about, right?
Well, no, the kind of I was actually talking about that with the Lotro fast level that I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Mithril coins. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, back then I would have felt it was cheating, or it would be. I would never say pay to win, because I hate that term, but it would be kind of why skip a game? Why not play the game? Why pay to skip it? But it's not fun to play in an empty zone,
right?
In an MMO. So I think it's completely justified for people to do this. I just wish it wasn't just tied to pre-order. I would think that everybody who would bought the Warlords of Draenor expansion would get this one level 90 just to get to the stuff. I think that's the only gripe I have with it.
Oh, but they're pushing so much with pre-orders nowadays for everything. You've talked about this, right?
Yeah, but you're not going to goad me into talking about pre-orders again. But I just wish this was just part of the expansion.
Please don't talk pre-orders again.
I was right, by the way. Anyway, let's go on to the next story, which is the Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls?
Are they from Louisiana?
Elder Scrolls.
Anyways.
Leonor, you need a spelling check. Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah. The NDA is basically lifted, which means that you can talk, tweet, stream, and video your experiences in the Elder Scrolls beta from now on. And I'm actually quite curious to see what people's impressions are from now on, because mine were not that good after my second beta weekend experience. Because if you feel like you're going through a grind after only 2 weekends of playing, then the game is missing something.
Yeah.
And for the conclusion that I finally reached, which is pure opinion on my part, your mileage may vary, as they say, is it's a decent Elder Scrolls game, and it's a decent MMO, but neither one is fantastic, and both genres clash.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that's come out more than anything else in the whole opening up of the beta, dance party videos for end of beta. It's awful. Naked dance parties everywhere, just all over the place. Yeah.
I've only made 2 of those videos. No, but
I'm showing it to the chat room right now, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Awesome.
The problem is if I play it looks like the end party in Return of the Jedi. I see Ewoks being roasted on a crispy fire. The thing is, if I play Final Fantasy XIV, I get an MMO and a Final Fantasy game, and neither of those elements feel like a compromise. When I'm playing the Elder Scrolls Online, I feel the compromise between the MMO and the single-player adventure, just like I did in Star Wars: The Old Republic. And as long as you feel that compromise, there is something wrong with the basic design of the game. That's my that's my conclusion after playing 2 weekends of beta and 2 hours of hands-on. I'm definitely going to get back into it when the game launches, but it feels like we're having another the Old Republic story on our hands.
I am slowly, or not so slowly, I think, falling in love with the PvP. My experiences with it were really, really positive. I can see it replacing my Guild Wars 2 leveling time and with the PvP in there.
World.
Yeah, the world versus world. I think this is gonna scratch that itch a little bit better. Mostly because you can be, it seems at least, a lot more useful in small parties.
That's a big deal.
So
I agree.
Yeah, and that's a big deal to me. So we'll see how that works out in the end. But I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely following. It's still beta. I mean, it's not done yet.
Right.
No, but we are less than 2 months. We're a month and a half out from launch. Actually, a month from head start. The game is pretty much baked. It's tweaking now.
They could still add spaceships.
They could. I don't know how much that would fit in the Elder Scrolls lore. But you're the expert, Harry.
Like the rest of the game seems to fit with the lore. I'm not a lore junkie by any means for Elder Scrolls, but I've seen so many posts on Reddit and whatever, people just screaming on the top of their lungs what's wrong with the lore in the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't think spaceships would be the biggest worry for them.
That's Bill dinging at me, by the way. He'll be joining us shortly. I wanted to ask him right then. I tried to call him, but I wanted to know what his thoughts were on spaceships in Elder Scrolls Online. But apparently, he won't be able to add his thoughts to that. So we do have
Thank you. Talk about something else then.
Yeah, let's move things along. We do have a lot more to talk about. Kickstarter getting hacked for one, Final Fantasy, and of course, none other than more Flappybird news. Man, I love that soundtrack. That is another fantastic soundtrack, the Rift soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's really good. But that was French horns, so I'm kind of biased.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
Kickstarter has been hacked.
Dun, dun, dun.
Last week, Wednesday night, law enforcement officials contacted Kickstarter and alerted them that hackers had gained access to the passwords and names, mailing addresses, numbers, and other things that the people that have used Kickstarter with. Apparently, the credit card information and things like that, straight up payment, were encrypted, so those weren't taken or whatever with hacked. But their passwords and pretty much everything else was. So if anybody has given some money to Kickstarter to help out one of your favorite games that you want to actually be a full game, go to Kickstarter if you don't already have the email and start changing your password and stuff.
Yep. Bill, what do you think?
Good.
Spaceships in Elder Scrolls Online or no spaceships in Elder Scrolls Online?
I don't see how they could possibly screw it up any worse, so why not?
Second question. Kickstarter, did you get the email asking you to change your password? Have you ever backed anything on Kickstarter?
Yes, and it works out very well for me because apparently I have no Kickstarter account, which is weird because I swear I backed things in the past, but it must have been like post Kickstarter backing.
There you go. This Lenore, I mean, really, can we expect anything but things getting hacked now?
I would. You almost want to bank on it, and and I'm gonna put my IT hat on for a second, so everybody can go have a little snooze now if you like. I'm secretly hoping that this is going to be the trend of the personal server, your own self-provided IT again. Like instead of the like, I think we went a little too far with the whole cloud thing. There's certainly benefits to it and everything like that, but of existing in this amorphous internet and everything like that. But I'm kind of almost hoping that this security. These security issues that we have that keep happening and the risk of identity compromisation and that kind of thing is going to kind of bring people back a little bit to basically say, you know, the best security is the security that I set up myself and that I can be responsible for, instead of depending on so-and-so on some server server admin team that might be making like $8 an hour or whatever. So it could wind up having a good effect in the end. But yes, you should expect to get hacked. It's part of life.
This is one of the big reasons why I haven't even looked into any sort of accounts for MMO Reporter, forums, or anything like that. I don't want to be responsible for anybody. We use an external provider for our comments even, because I don't want to be responsible for anybody's password or security. That scares the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you ask for my credit card number then? You bought the World of Warcraft. Oh, never mind.
That was totally Chris that asked for that. Yeah, that's it.
Go change your password. Again, use something like I've been using LastPass for the last little while. Great online-based solution. Hopefully my password for LastPass doesn't get hacked, because I store all my passwords online through LastPass. Yeah, and it's working out really well for me because it can randomly generate some passwords for some of the trickier stuff, and I actually pay for the premium one so I can have it on my phone and access all those passwords on my phone as well in case I ever need to log into anything remotely. So do some...
By the way, I think just to add to the Kickstarter password thing, I do think one of the reasons that not everybody was asked to change the password, if you use your Facebook to log into it, I think they didn't get those details.
There you go.
Because I have the same, I use my Facebook credentials for the login, and ironically, that seems to be safe.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Hey, Harry, speaking of Final Fantasy, which I know you absolutely love and adore and would give up your firstborn child for, the Final Fantasy beta has started on the PlayStation 4. Very, very, very exciting stuff.
Well, first of all, I like the game. I don't love it. I'm downloading the beta this afternoon. And the main reason that I'm very much looking forward to the PlayStation 4 version of the game is the Vita remote play function, which is fantastic. Can you imagine your favorite MMO that has a slight amount of grinding in it? And there is nothing wrong with grinding a little bit if you're tired and you just don't want to think too much about what you're doing.
Isn't that Leonor's favorite type of MMO? Anything with grinding?
I'm not saying that the game should be completely grinding. I mean, there are moments that you just have to kill 10 rats and be happy to do so.
Don't they call that adult MMOs then?
Yeah.
There's too much grinding?
Remote play on the Vita makes it possible to do that from any place you have an internet connection, because that streams your game from your PlayStation 4 over the internet, over your local network, or over the big internet. It's a technical term. Look it up.
Elf chicks.
And you can actually play that on your Vita, and that's great. It uses the touchpad. I've seen videos of this. You have this little touchpad on your PlayStation 4 controller, and with that you can use it as a mouse pad basically in the game, which makes the interface even more comfortable for a controller. There's so many little tweaks and details to it, and the graphics are beefed up, obviously. So I'm really looking forward to the PlayStation 4 version. I think I definitely want to play this game more on the PlayStation 4 than I would on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So yes, look forward to it.
Just the ease of the menu like you're talking about for the touchpad, right?
Well, and
And
the
then-
thing is, mouse and keyboard support.
Right.
It's very easy to. I have this little Bluetooth Apple keyboard here that hooks up to the PlayStation 4 with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, you just put the little dongle in there, or can you connect right through the PlayStation? Bluetooth, right there. Wow, that's awesome.
Well, PlayStation 3 already does that. I mean, that's not really rocket science, but it works very well and easy to set up. So that solves the chatting problem, because when I was playing it on the PlayStation 3, I didn't have a keyboard, and if you then want to use the chat, you have to use the controller to use a virtual keyboard. Try asking questions in chat using that.
Yeah, well, Defiance on Xbox is the bane of my existence. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I don't like playing it very much, is that communication issue.
The great thing about Defiance on the Xbox is you don't have to talk to people; you can just shoot.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, I look forward to this. It's great. I think maybe we should talk about a game that everybody here enjoys, which is Guild Wars 2.
Tetris? Oh, wait, no.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Flappy Birds.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Aw,
Flappy MMO?
Flappy Bird.
No?
He's got killed.
Oh.
Okay,
Anyway.
just a quick mention. There is a Flappy Bird MMO, people, and we have an actual live stream, a let's play of the Flappy Bird MMO.
We do, actually. Two of us have played it, Leonor and I.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hypnotic to
Chris.
see thousands of Flappy Birds flapping their
You
way
did.
through
My record was 8, and yours is, what, 13?
No, yours was 12.
Oh, did I get up to 12?
You got up to 12.
There you go.
It's kind of neat because it shows all the when the birds fall, they show on each pipe where all like how many birds have fallen by those pipes.
Right.
It's kind of neat. So
Those who have
since
fallen.
there was these other statistics that weren't there that I decided to go through Chris's video and take. Chris said shoot 1 time. Chris said darn it 3 times. He said the word shit 6 times. And damn it 59 times.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that he was actually playing the game or the fact that you were counting his curse words. That's the meta game in Flappy Bird MMO.
I think, to be more accurate, though, it was damn it rather than
Yes.
damn.
Damn it.
So I will make you be accurate there. You
Well,
really...
We are journalists, so we'd have to be factual.
Right. And in case anybody's wondering, I am maybe playing Flappy MMO on right now while we're streaming.
And maybe
So-
you should, maybe because you were the one, and this is
And,
what something
and
that our
it might be
listeners
streaming
don't know.
right now. But it's...
Our
not.
listeners don't know that Chris is basically egging us on to hurry the F up. I will not make a song out of that one. Because we were running long, so he's actually trying to move things along by playing the freaking Flappy Bird MMO. This is not helping.
Damn it.
Lion's Arch is
So-
gone.
Damn it.
This is
For the-
terrible. Bill, tell us about Lion's Arch.
Damn it.
Oh my. I had the opportunity to play Lion's Arch actually the moment it went live today, and it's not gone. It's not a crater. It's not Charwick or anything like that, for those of you that remember it from Asheron's Call, like we talked about last week or anything. But it is badly, severely compromised. Basically, they've converted it into the entire zone of Lion's Arch is now a open world raid zone, and you periodically get kicked in. Like there's kind of a meta game and a meta timer that you have to play against to complete world events and rescue as many people from Lion's Arch and help them escape as quickly as possible, and before the place becomes too toxic to be in and everybody dies. If you're into the open world Zergy raid type stuff,
It's like ore, right?
it's a little like ore. Yeah, it's not impossible. Like it's not like the Tecatl fight or the dragon fights that were bumped up and made just virtually undoable. They were so difficult unless you had a dedicated well-timed raid team, but it's still more difficult than I think probably most, if not all, of the open world content, with the exception of Tecadal and I don't even know what other open world content is as hard as this. But anyway, it's barely controlled chaos. It was really fun to get in at the opening when there's no strategies or people yelling, "Don't go here," and that kind of thing. But it's very cool. They've done a big number on it. They've destroyed bridges. The portals are all down. All the economy hubs are down and are basically they didn't even create alternatives really. They're just kind of, you have to find other places to do your business now while Lion's Arch is completely under siege. It's really cool.
That's awesome. And I know that there was a comment, I think it was on the forums, about the devs watching very carefully to see where players congregate now. Where do they go?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an interesting experiment. And again, I remember in Asheron's Call, it really changed the dynamic. Like people thought it would be catastrophic, but players are adaptable. They find another place to go sell their stuff and everything like that. So depending how long this runs, I don't know if this is going to be a phased event where this initial invasion is short, or if this is going to be like a regular living story thing where it lasts a few weeks. And I don't know, but I'm actually having fun.
Hating.
Sorry?
Who is invading? Because
Scarlet.
I logged in this morning.
Oh,
it's
Scarlet. It's Scarlet Briar and her Aether Blades and Molten enemies and the toxic. Where it doesn't specifically say. She's actually the story of it and kind of the meta story that I've heard about it so far is that she's trying to access something directly underneath Lion's Arch. So Lion's Arch happens to just be in the way of what she wants.
Okay.
So there's a giant, like, I think we
It's
never
oil,
did
right?
we never had a complete, probably, yeah, they never had a complete success of the zone while I was playing it. But there's this giant spinning drill, like floating right above Lion's Arch that's trying to go down into the ocean. And presumably, if you get to a certain stage or you complete a certain level of stuff inside the zone, that's going to open up into like a dungeon content or open world dungeon content or something like that. That's my guess.
Tell me this is not an Iraq analogy. I mean, it's an invasion.
It's. I wouldn't be surprised if there's thinly veiled spots in there for political statements and that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's not overt. It's not clubbing you over the head with like where the main bad guy is like Saddam Hussein or something like that, or
well, let's remember our history. Which country invaded the country with the oil?
Yeah, I know, but
move it along, gentlemen. Move it along. Nothing to see here.
I'm
Nothing to see here.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'm Dutch. I have an opinion.
Great fun. If you've been outside of Lion's Arch or outside of Guild Wars 2 for a while and you were getting a little tired of the slowly moving Scarlet Briar story, this is not a slowly moving jump. This is actually a pretty big jump in the story, I think, and I'm actually pretty interested to see where it goes from here.
Cool.
Awesome. I'm it's a huge risk that they're taking, kind of the culmination of this story that's been the Living World story, since after the first couple, which were, I don't want to say throwaway stories, but, the Living World's been building up to this, the Living World story. So I'm kind of excited as to where it's going to go. Should be tons and tons of fun.
I'm hoping that they take this as a cue to moving the living story along maybe a little bit more quickly. I think most players probably feel that Scarlet Briar got a little more build up than what was really necessary. Like maybe they could have built Scarlet Briar up over a 6-month period instead of a 12-month period.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked it, but
it wasn't catastrophic. But I think it would feel a little bit more exciting if it was moving along a little more quickly. And Scarlet Briar to me still doesn't strike me as the world terror that a boss that drives the living story for over a year should be. Like, she doesn't strike me as that kind of bad guy,
Yeah.
I would have expected, like, again, dragons or something like that. Something that is a little bit more core to the original story, Guild Wars 2, to take a big run like that rather than this character that just got invented as they were going.
I think it's very cool that they're doing this kind of stuff, because this is basically this is a follow through on the promise of having an actual dynamic living world and things that matter and permanence and persistence in the story and in the story world. I'm very happy to see it, because this is basically an evolution of what they did with the first Halloween event, with the blowing up of the statue in Lion's Arch. And they're taking this to the next level, and combined with the Karka event. So I'm very happy with what they're doing right now.
Yep,
I'm
cool.
going to play this weekend. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun.
I recommend getting in early, because the zerginess of it is just delicious. If you're into that sort
I'll play this afternoon. I'm actually going to play right after the podcast, which is the honest sound.
I went a little early there. Sorry.
That's just what I always do.
Hint.
Go on.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
This week's MMO flashback is Champions Online.
When our city was attacked, we weren't prepared. Our streets became battlefields, war zones for remaining survivors. Many heroes fell, but ultimately, we saved the day. We made the city safe, for a while at least. Today, the villains are back, more powerful than ever. Ouija, Kigatila, Bra, and the most dangerous of all, Dr. Destroyer.
Dun dun dun.
This time, we'll be...
The game was released in September 2009 and later went free to play in January 2011. Many feel that Champions Online free-to-play is the reason why City of Heroes closed its doors. The game is still going right now with regular updates.
I said citation needed.
Citation. Okay, so this is the first time I've done this with Bill on the show. Bill, where were you when Champions Online first turned on their servers?
Where was I? In 2009, I was probably deeply entrenched in World of Warcraft, and might have been just starting up. I think we were just starting up in Lotro, I think, at that point, weren't we, Chris?
I don't know. Were we raiding together in WoW? Was that?
I think that's roughly that time period. I also think that I was firing out. I was a new dad again and everything like that. Champions Online was on my radar when it came out, but it was very much, it's kind of like in the spot that Eve has occupied for a very long time for me. It was on my list of, like, it was like third or fourth place to actually be interested in playing at any given moment, and therefore I never actually got to it.
I was actually max level in Lotro back then.
What?
So
Sorry, what? You were what?
Well,
Don't lie, Harry. Harry, the truth. Don't lie to us.
You never forgave me for making fun of your slow progression. I was max level in Lotro before you started playing the game. That was really...
Well, you already said you'd pay money for that, so...
So did any of you guys play this game?
I did, yes. I played it quite a bit.
I did too.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I thought it was fun. I liked City of Heroes better. The cell shaded is a personal taste, Harry. Are you not a fan of cell shaded?
Ugly. No, this particular kind of cell shading was just ugly, and I hated the introduction with the city with the force field over it.
Yes.
And the zone after that was really just hideous.
Which zone did you go to after?
I tried.
Did you go snow or desert?
Both. I tried both.
Yeah.
I hated both of them.
Yeah, getting into the leveling was not fun for me. The intro I've done millions of times, not millions literally, but a bunch of times, because I like making the characters, I like trying out the powers, and then I get to those levels, and I get bored.
But it doesn't feel like a world. It felt like, okay,
no,
now you
not
did
at
this
all.
zone, and now you're going to go to the next zone. And I hated
It
that.
felt like an old, cheap arcade game. It just in its world design, like it in its flow. Like you're gonna do like the old
Next level,
TMNT game. You're gonna do the next level, and now you're gonna do the next level. There's no transition. There's no Anyways, it was. I enjoyed the combat though. It was good. The combat was better, but the world just felt better in City of Heroes to me.
It felt like an actual world in City of Heroes,
yeah.
even though it was comprised of identical boxed rooms.
Right.
At least it was a world, and this is this wasn't a world.
In a world where, yeah. All right.
In a city block where
Yeah.
Where worlds are
reigns.
not worlds.
All right, Harry, do you want to let people know our coupon codes for our sponsors?
Yeah, get those scissors ready and start clipping those coupons. If you need a new PC, I recommend you go to doghousesystems.com and use the coupon code MMO Reporter to double the RAM of on the system you order. So that's a great deal. And second, this is one of my all-time favorite services. Audible.com is the great audiobook provider in the world. And if you want to try out their service, you can go to audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter and get your first month free, which includes a credit for a free audiobook and discount on any additional purchases. And if you decide not to continue your subscription, you can still keep the first free book.
Awesome.
So, Leonor, how can people reach us?
You can reach us by email at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. They can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/MMO Reporter. They can Twitter us at MMO_reporter. Harry Hall, how do they twit you?
They tweet me at Harry Hall, which is HARRYHOL.
Bill, how about you?
you can tweet her at me at MMO Bill, BILL. MMO BILL.
MMO Bile, people.
I could put the emphasis on like all the different letters. I could do that like 8 or 9 different times if you like.
We're good.
We're good.
We're happy.
You can tweet me at Leonor, LAYANOR. Our voicemail is at 616-666-6778. Or you can go to our webpage, mmoreporter.com, and click the widget on the right side of the page. And you can always follow us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/user/MMO Reporter Network. And check out all of the videos that I'm editing.
All of them.
It's like one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We out, bitches.
On that note, I do think it's time to go. Bill, thanks for popping on for the end there. It was great to have you.
Yeah, I just snuck in after my curling match, which I don't want to brag, but we kind of destroyed them, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
So you had to pay for the beer then?
No.
The winner takes the beer, right?
No, the winner pays. The
pays-
winner is supposed to pay for the beer. It's a curling tradition.
No.
Who told you that?
That's wrong.
Look it
That's
up.
wrong.
Look it up.
Is that the team that you beat at curling that told you that?
No, I've never played curling.
Well,
I
there you
think
go.
we should end this MMO podcast.
Are you sure?
Curling reporter.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you very much, Harry, as well. Always fun to have you out.
Yeah.
And Leonor, we survived another one with Harry, Leonor. It's worthy to celebrate. It's worth celebrating.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out if you can play curling with squeegees.
Well, thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope that you listen to next week's as well and download it. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your oaths you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.
That was a long show. I need to go lie down.